Every single generation of hardware promises to fix everything wrong with the last one. And every single time, some of those promises actually deliver, while others quietly disappear the moment real testing starts. The Apple TV Ultra is no different. There's a long list of rumored upgrades floating around right now, and not all of them deserve the same level of hype. So I went through every single leak feature, tested the claims against what we actually know about how these systems work, and ranked them from the upgrade that's genuinely going to change how this thing feels every single day, down to the one that's honestly just a marketing footnote. Let's rank these properly. Starting at number 7, the most disappointing rumored upgrade on the entire list, per app audio consistency. I want to get this one out of the way immediately, because it's the upgrade that isn't actually an upgrade at all. There were hopes going into this release that the new chip would somehow smooth out the wildly inconsistent volume levels you get jumping between different streaming apps. It won't. This was never a hardware problem to begin with. Every streaming platform masters and processes its own audio independently, and no amount of extra processing power inside your streaming box changes how an individual app decided to mix its audio output. If you're constantly reaching for your remote to adjust volume every time you switch from one app to another, that habit isn't going anywhere. This lands dead last because it's the one issue people genuinely hoped would be solved, and it's the one issue that was never actually solvable by this kind of upgrade in the first place. Number 6. Native 4K at 120Hz gaming support. This one stings a little more because the hype train around it was real for a while. Rumors circulated that the massive chip upgrade would finally bring console-competitive gaming performance to the table, and then the reports came back with a very different answer. There's no redesign of the physical HDMI port architecture this generation, which means the bandwidth ceiling required to push full 4K at 120 frames per second simply isn't there. All the engineering investment this cycle reportedly went toward the processor itself, the redesigned remote, and expanded AI features, not a ground-up port redesign. If you were hoping this box would finally compete with a dedicated gaming console on refresh rate, that dream gets pushed back another generation. It ranks just above dead last because at least the general gaming responsiveness and app performance should still feel noticeably snappier, even without the headline resolution and refresh rate combo everyone wanted. Number 5. Full audio bitstream pass-through for competing surround formats. This is a smaller, more niche complaint, but for home theater enthusiasts running high-end AV receivers, it's a real one. The hope was that a more powerful chip might finally open the door to sending raw, undecoded audio signals straight through to a receiver for formats outside the preferred ecosystem. According to everything currently known, this isn't happening, and it was never actually a hardware limitation to begin with. It's a deliberate software and licensing decision, and faster silicon has zero influence over a licensing agreement. This ranks slightly above the previous two because it affects a smaller, more specific audience of home theater purists rather than every single user. But for that audience, it's a genuinely disappointing miss. Number 4. Connectivity and wireless upgrades. Now we're moving into the section of this list that's actually exciting, even if it's not the flashiest headline. The rumored upgrade to a more advanced wireless standard, paired with improved smart home connectivity protocols becoming standard across the entire lineup instead of locked behind the most expensive tier, is a genuinely meaningful quality of life improvement. If you've ever dealt with wireless stutter in a room further from your router, or smart home devices reacting with a noticeable delay, this directly addresses that. It ranks in the middle of the list because while it's a real improvement, it's not going to fundamentally transform your daily viewing experience the way some of the higher-ranked items will. It's the kind of upgrade you'll appreciate constantly in small ways without necessarily noticing it as one big moment. Number 3. The shrinking black screen flash. This is where the list starts getting genuinely exciting because this is a problem that has annoyed literally every single person who has ever used a modern streaming box. You know the moment. You hit play, and the screen just dies for a few agonizing seconds while your box and TV renegotiate the connection. The good news is that the massive jump in processing power should compress that renegotiation window dramatically, turning a multi-second blackout into something closer to a quick, barely noticeable blink. The bad news, and the reason this doesn't rank higher, is that it's not disappearing entirely. This is tied to fundamental HDMI standards that exist industry-wide, not something any single company can fully engineer around. Still, Going from a multi-second freeze to an almost imperceptible flicker is the kind of change you'll notice and appreciate literally every single time you turn your TV on. Number 2. Native AV1 hardware decoding. This is the upgrade that doesn't get nearly enough attention because it doesn't sound exciting on paper, but it fundamentally changes how the device behaves during real use. Right now, a lot of modern high-efficiency video streams have to be decoded using brute force software processing, which generates extra heat, draws more power, and can lead to performance throttling during long sessions. Dedicated hardware decoding built directly into the chip changes that completely. You get a device that runs cooler, uses less power, and maintains consistent performance even during extended binge sessions where the older hardware would start to struggle. This ranks near the top of the list because it's not a flashy, headline-grabbing feature. It's a background improvement that quietly makes every single viewing session better, whether you notice it consciously or not. And number 1, the most exciting rumored upgrade on the entire list: the elimination of audio dropouts during high bitrate playback.